All right, welcome to the Operator SDK Issue Triage meeting. This meeting will be recorded, so don't say anything you want to be on the internet forever. All right, getting started. Only got a few issues today. First off, best practices for using a private Git repository. It's a library from a Git repository. Build. Okay, so this just looks like a Go modules question. Yeah, this is just an upstream Go question. This doesn't have anything to do with Operator SDK. So I can follow up on this after this meeting and say something to the effect of, check out how Go private modules work. Here's the wiki. Done. And for the next one, Helm operator. In some rare cases, Helm operator is incorrectly determining a release is not installed. Right. So it looks like I think I took an issue, look at this issue last week. It looks like in the Helm operator, or sorry, in the Helm Go library, there's a case where a release may fail to install and a certain error is returned. And the Operator SDK or the Helm operator code handles that to some degree, but because the failure and the installation is not atomic, the Helm operator might accidentally remove a release that failed to install but shouldn't be removed. So I believe there is a PR. I don't think it's this one, but I think there is one that is open that's related to this issue. And part of the problem is there is like an atomic option for installing a release, but underneath the atomic option, there's the wait option being set, which there has been discussion of adding that option, but because of its blocking nature, there needs to be different handling in the Helm operator's reconcile code for that. So first, that I think that needs to be implemented, and then after that's been implemented, then we can look into atomic. So I think this is going to block for now and go into the backlog. Does that sound reasonable?
That's fine.
Yes.
And probably
Yes.
like, actually, that's fine. Okay. Execute a command inside the pod in reconciliation loop.
Isn't this generally not sort of recommended?
Probably not.
Actually reaching inside the container to execute stuff.
I don't have the knowledge about not recommended that. But we can try to understand what is the problem and why Sysfalk would like to do that to see if it's the best way to solve the need. Maybe.
Well, just reading through this issue, it seems like rather than trying to reach directly into the pod, a more, I don't know what's the word, holistic, maybe, way to do this would be like set some environment var and have the process that's controlling the pod itself, or running inside the pod rather, do this for you. I don't know.
Yeah, so probably have the manager be able to execute this command periodically and then surface the output of that command somewhere in like a status or something. But yeah, would anybody like to take this on and respond? Is basically what we just discussed.
This is
But-
Jesus. I can respond to
Cool.
ask more. Go ahead.
I just would like to share one thing. The folk is saying, I'd like to read the kubeconfig inside of. So when we run the operator locally, like make it run, we use the kubeconfig. When we have the operator running on the cluster, the configuration came from the cluster. So probably this implementation doesn't work because of the multi-tenancy scenario. So just to share the difference.
I'm fairly certain though that you can access the REST config from the reconcile construct.
That's like the internal one. If they're exposing their personal kube config, there might be information in there that the operator isn't necessarily supposed to be able to have.
They definitely shouldn't be doing that. No. Like you should be using the one that's passed by the manager to the reconciler.
Yeah, I'll respond and try to get more information on what they're trying to do.
I remember that I have some similar scenario for 1 year ago. I'll try to find it to share with you. Maybe help.
Thanks.
Thanks for responding to this one, Ken.
Yeah, no problem.
Bump operator framework API dependency to 0322. Yeah, so this is a reasonable request. This I think pertains to the 1.2 release because there's a bug fix in there for bundle validate command from this dependency. So we might want to think about doing a backport update to v1.2. But this is also fixed. This will be fixed in the 1.3 release because we bumped it to 0.40, which includes the change, the bug fix here. So I'll just say, okay, so Barsh has already commented and said 1.2 patch. So I will just leave this open for now. Sorry, outside of a milestone. And depending on what releases look like this week, we might be able to get a 1.2.1 in. And would anybody like to take on this bump?
I can take this.
Okay. Cool. Run package manifests randomly fails to start the operator from OLM catalog. Right. So there is a PR that's open for this. I think what's happening here is that an error is incorrectly being handled in Operator SDK. And so OLM will actually install, but the error will be returned that it didn't install correctly. And I think I believe I reviewed and approved and merged a similar PR related to this, but this looks like a follow-up on that. So because I did the original one, I can take a look at this. And I'll put this into 1.5, and this is can probably be classified as a bug. The file config RBAC role has not been updated with the APIs which are created. Can you explain this, Camille? If you're on.
Yes, I am. Sorry.
problem.
Okay, when we create one, okay, the issue is I create a Ansible project, then I scaffolding API. The what is updated, and the rule, the configuration for we apply to allow the permissions for the new API is scaffolded as well. However, if I go there and try to scaffold another one, like I started with a rule and then I scaffold a playbook, the second one doesn't go to RBAC config. So this is the problem. We are not updating the, if you go config, if you
So you're saying in which file is this happening?
Ansible, if you come back a little bit, yes, config, RBAC, and then rule. If you go, okay, this stuff, do you see, we have the main cached. If we scaffold the main cached to, this file will not be updated. Really, thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to take this on, or does anybody else want to?
If nobody wants, I can try to take. Not sure if I will be able to solve in time, but yes.
If you don't get it in time, I can take a look at it too.
Okay.
We are not enlisting you.
Oh, don't want to do that. Cool. And last one, raise the name of task by default in molecule tests.
And this one is because I was working to fix the molecular tests, and in the old layout, we have by default, we have in the mock the name of the task. I believe that by default as well, which we removed probably because if we put in the init, you fail because it is you just working if you have a create API, scaffolded. Some rule is scaffolded in the default, in the config, in the molecule default tasks directory. So I raised this feature because it shows that it would be possible to do. It's achievable when we create the first molecular task there, edit this stuff, because it's very hard to do. Now, if we face problems in the molecular tests, we don't have the name of the task without this line. So would be, in my opinion, very helpful for the users.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Do you think that this would be a good first issue? Well, first of all, is this solved by one of your PRs that you have open?
No, not yet, but you can assign it to me. I can try to do.
So this
Well-
one, you're going to want to edit that file when you create an API.
Yeah, the line.
This is currently only done during init. Is that right?
Yes, but it has a comment. Cheese is the only line that needs to be added. So we can just add the cheese line when we have a molecular task. If we add before, we don't have the variable, so we'll fail. If we add in the init, so cheese should be like a post action in the create API, but it's so simple as well. Just update the file.
So I'm going to put good first issue help wanted on this and not assign you. But if you do get around to doing this, then assign yourself to it.
Okay.
And I assume because nobody's spoken up that nobody wants to take this on other than Camilla. Cool. Okay, so that is it for open issues, except for this one, which we already discussed. So just a quick update on the, let's actually just go to milestones here. On these two releases. So as we said previously, we are going to be cutting 1.3 as soon as control runtime 070 was released and we can get all of our upstream dependencies updated. And then following that, 1.4 as soon as we can get controller runtime 080 with 1.20 dependencies released and everything else updated upstream. The 070 release was cut last week, Friday, I believe. So now we're in the process of updating Kube Builder and cutting a release up there so that we can cut 1.3 here. I still need to talk to the upstream community about cutting 080 like immediately. We have 120 PR ready to go upstream. And so I'm hoping that will happen fairly quickly. And then, yeah, we'll cut these two in rapid succession. Anybody have any questions about that? I know we have a bunch of issues that are still open in 1.3. So I'm going to leave these open until we are ready to cut the next release, or not open, but in this milestone. And then as soon as we're ready, then I'll move them all. I just want to give whoever's working on these some time, some extra time that we still have to work on these.
Do we have an estimate when we need to get these merged in order to get them into 1.3?
Ideally today.
Cool.
So if you have anything in here that you're worried about, then yeah, get working. And I think some of these can actually be closed out because of changes that were made in the GoV3 plugin, which will be the default in the 1.3 release, such as CRDs and webhooks being V1, this particular error, things like that. So I'll go through these and groom it after this meeting. Okay.
If that's it for the actual meeting, Camilla, could you speak? We were talking about this before you showed up about what's going on with the molecule tests in CI. Do you have a PR open to fix them? But it looks like you're still actively working on it.
I have a PR to fix, and I have a follow-up to ensure that the mock is no longer stacked, because currently we use a stacked mock to do that tests. So if we change something, the scaffold that could affect it, we do not get. So first, we want to fix the issue and ensure that we are using a mock that is using the latest layout. Then a follow-up to generate that automatically, like the other tests, like the other mock using the molecular one, to ensure that we are always testing with the changes made in the pull requests as well.
So does that mean we just screwed up when we converted this from Travis to GitHub Actions? Or was this also not actually working correctly in Travis?
In the Travis, it was using this test mock data that was using the legacy layout. So was not exactly correctly as well because you are not testing if the list is layout. So
Okay. Thanks. That's
is
for
that
me.
your question? I could
Yeah, no.
answer.
No, it's
Yeah.
Cool.
I lose a few hairs to try to understand that.
All right. Anybody else have anything they want to ask? Great. Just a quick note, I have canceled next week's and the following week's meetings, and I believe one grooming meeting because of the holidays. So enjoy your time off. We will reconvene, I believe, on January 4th and discuss the 1.5 release. So happy holidays, everybody. And yeah, have some good times off. See ya.
See you. Thank you.
Happy
Thank you.
holidays.